Welcome! I'm Brenda Trott, known as the Make Money in Your Sleep Girl. I'm a publisher of books and other information products with a special emphasis on marketing. And today is the first seminar in the series Stepping Stones to Know, Like, and Trust. Now, if you've been an entrepreneur for any amount of time, you know that people like to do business with people that they know, like, and trust. So this series is designed to give you one particular thing to do each week that gets you closer to that know, like, and trust status with your potential clients. Today's seminar is called How to Get a Five-Star Reputation. Now, we know that reputation in itself is really nothing new. Grandma and Grandpa's shop was really live or die by the reputation that they had in their neighborhood for the quality of service and the quality of products that they offer. What's different today is that word of mouth is not so much, you don't have to be face to face to get that word of mouth anymore, do you? With the just explosion of social media, of the internet, of mobile devices, your reputation is out there and you may not even know about it. You might not know what it looks like. So today we're going to dive into how to kind of take your reputation by the reins, bring it up to a 5 star, and then maintain it. We're going to jump right in, and there's really four different types of reputations that you could have. You could have a bad reputation, you could have no reputation at all. And when I say you, I mean you and your business. You could have a good reputation, which many people would be very happy with, but you know that the 5 star reputation is the one that gets the business every single time. So let's talk about that word of mouth. Lots of businesses pride themselves on the fact that they don't do any advertising at all. All of their business is by referrals from customer to customer. Let's just talk about two ladies in the grocery store. Janie says hi to Sally, haven't seen you in a while, and oh, how you doing? Well, you know what? I found out today that Alex needs braces. Hey, wait a minute. Didn't your daughter have braces a couple of years back? And she says, oh, yeah, I used Dr. Gray. Dr. Gray was awesome, and staff was able to get us into the appointments. We didn't have to miss any school with it. And, she just goes on and on about Dr. Gray. But when it comes time to give him the number, well, she used Dr. Gray 2 years ago. She doesn't really have the same cell phone that she had 2 years ago. She says, what does she tell her to do? She says, oh, he's down on Kensington Avenue. Just Google him. So, with great intentions, full recommendation, she goes and Googles Dr. Gray. Well, a couple of things can happen there. She found a Dr. Gray, but it was the wrong Dr. Gray. It was Dr. Gray, the optometrist, not Dr. Gray, the orthodontist. And that's really not going to help her. So she moves on to find another orthodontist. Or, worse, they find bad reviews. Now, it's only one bad review that Dr. Gray had, but it was the first thing that she found, and so she decides to go another way. Or she could find 5 star reviews, press releases about all the cool things that they've done for kids in the neighborhood, articles that Dr. Gray has written, a book that Dr. Gray has written, and oh yeah, his phone number. That's what they were after in the first to begin with. Now, do you think that Dr. Gray has a client yet? Before Dr. Gray has even met this person, his reputation has basically sold this new client. So we're going to talk about how you can go ahead and get this type of situation to happen to you when you get referrals. And the first thing you need to do, though, is determine if you Google yourself and they can't find you, which is what happened to begin with, there's some things that you can do here. And the first thing that you really want to do is you want to discover what people are using to look for you. And to do that, the one thing I really recommend that you don't do is assume. Don't assume that you know what words people are going to put into the computer or into the cell phone to find you. Because you're wrong. I'll just tell you, almost 100% of the time you're going to be wrong. So you can ask current customers, hey, when you're looking for me, what do you use? What words do you put in there? And then another thing to think about is that you want to use what's called a local qualifier. So if Dr. Gray, which is a fairly common name, if Dr. Gray was located in Houston, and even if somebody put Dr. Gray Houston in there, you're still going to have tons of Dr. Grays come up. So if she told her, that she was on Kensington, she might put Dr. Gray and then 77070. She might put Dr. Gray, Kensington. So you need to know exactly what people are using to look for you. And then you take those words, and by the way, there is some software that you can use. You can go to Google AdWords and you can play around with the software there, and that'll tell you nationwide, basically, what people are looking for when they're looking for your type of business. Then you use those words and you pop them into Google and you find out what shows up. And you're going to find 97% of the time, you're going to find that there are certain review sites that pop up over and over again. And I mentioned this before, you do want to do this on both your PC or your piece of fruit and your mobile device. And the reason for this is that Google actually keeps different records for each, so you're going to get different rankings. You're going to get different results basically using a desktop versus or a laptop versus using a mobile device. So you want to do both. And you're going to find the same review sites popping up over and over again. And the reason I tell you to do it this way is that reviews obviously are the basis for your online reputation. The results show that 89% of customers trust online reviews, but they only want, there's a couple qualifiers there, they trust the reviews when they see 10 or more of those reviews. And they're not the only ones. There's research out there, or not research, but there's news out there right now that shows that people who make decisions about whether or not businesses get loans actually do some research and they look at your reviews to see if you're a viable business or not. So now we're going, beyond the scope of even getting customers. And just recently, I had a friend of mine, Larry, publicly thanked me for a review that I left him a year ago, because he said that review, that was just one review. He said that review is still getting him business today. So reviews are really the foundation for your reputation. And if you haven't, dealt with them yet or looked at what you've got yet, it's coming. So you really need to understand what's going on there. So the reason I'm telling you to look for the review sites that show up first is that depending on what your business is and the location that you're in, you're going to want to focus more or less on particular review sites. And it does change all the time, but Google loves review sites, but they treat different industries differently. So there's no canned list that I can give you here. A lot of people are hyper focused on Yelp. Yelp right now is doing something called filtering reviews. What that means is, they'll get their customers to give us a Yelp review, and they'll give them a Yelp review, and then they get upset because that review is filtered, it's put aside, people don't find it, Google doesn't index it. And the reason that that's happening is that the people who are reviewing them have never left anybody else a review. They just now signed up for Yelp. So if that's happening and Yelp isn't really the thing that's ranking, why focus on Yelp? Obviously your customers aren't going there. Yelp customers Yelpers are kind of a special little breed in their own, and that's something that we can talk about, I guess, in a different section. But yes, people who use Yelp will go to Yelp to look for you, but not everybody is a Yelper. And I would venture to say that most of your customers, unless you're a restaurant, maybe, but the majority of your customers probably are not going to focus on Yelp. They're going to use Google search results, and the Google local might be the one that shows up. There's a lot of review sites that are going to show up, and that's why you need to do your diligence and you need to do your research. So after you've done that, you're going to go and you're going to get those reviews. And like I said, people trust reviews when there's at least 10 of them. So you need to get at least 10 reviews on those review sites so that when people start looking for you, and this is when you're going to see the magic happen, when you get all of these reviews. And there's lots of ways to get them. The one thing you want to do is make sure that they're all authentic, that people are putting them in yourself. And I like to tell my clients to, I'll make them a QR code that I can change the location where it lands. So and then we print them on a ticket so that they can put them on their little service tickets or on their receipts, and they say, did you have a great experience today? Leave us a review, and it goes on to, the QR code. And there's a whole nother thing I can tell you about QR codes and who actually uses them. But the nice thing is that we can change where, so when Google changes and says, never mind, you have too many reviews over here, we're going to rank this review site, so we can change where people leave these reviews. And just really, you'd be surprised when you got that raving customer who's just telling you how happy they are. They're more than willing to go out of their way and leave you a review if you ask them, and if you make it easy for them. So you want to make it easy for them. You want to give them an easy to use thing. You want them to be able to do it right from their cell phone before they leave your shop, if that's the case, or before you leave their house, if you're a service person. So you want to make sure that you get those reviews and get at least 10 reviews. And then you're going to go on to the next step. But before I tell you what the next step is, we really need to deal with the elephant in the room. And the elephant in the room is obviously the bad reviews. So what are we going to do to, what happens if you have a bad review? The first thing that you want to do is you want to find out where it came from. And sometimes business owners, they're just going to jump the gun and they're going to say, well, that must be a competitor. Somebody's after me, they don't like me, and so they're going to leave me a bad review. I've had all these good reviews, so this person is just, lying, and I don't know who they are. But you really want to make sure that's less and less likely to happen. Once upon a time, there were some SEO people that were doing things called black hat things, and they would go after other people and do this. And now they're finding it's not really doing them all that good, so they're kind of going another way. So this is less and less likely that this is going to happen. So what you really want to know is, if that is the case, and it did come from a competitor, if it's not somebody that you did business with, then there are ways to deal with that. You're going to want to look at the review site, and you're going to want to search for the way to contact them and deal with them directly. And if it is from, an out of the country IP address, or they can tell that there were multiple negative reviews left in the same time, they might be able to help you out. Okay, but if it did come from one of your customers, then you really need to fix the problem. Now, I said that, this is building your 5-star reputation. This is not faking your 5-star reputation. You need to make sure that you really earn that 5-star reputation. And so if you find a problem, you need to fix that problem. Yes, I know that there are, grumpy customers out there, and no matter what you do, you can't make them happy. So here's the very first thing you need to do is find out what the problem is and fix it. So if you've determined that this is a customer of yours, contact them. And you might be surprised to hear this, but you want to thank them, because if you think about it, they have done you a favor. If they've gone out of their way to let you know and let others know that they were hurting, or that they had a problem with the service that they had, usually it's not done out of malice. It's done because they have an issue that they couldn't get fixed. So by leaving a review, they brought that to your attention. And yeah, the attention of everyone else, but they brought it to your attention. So we need to find out what the problem was and try to fix it. And yeah, you can contact that customer and you can ask them, hey, thank them. Thank you so much, for leaving a review. I'm so sorry that things didn't work out. What can we do to make this right? And then once you've made it right, you can ask them to go back and edit it. Now, if they just don't want to talk to you anymore, they just don't want to even deal with you, then there's other things that we want to do. You definitely want to respond to that. Most of the review sites will allow you to respond to those types of reviews, and you want to be even tempered when you do this. You do not want to leave some kind of raging thing. You don't want to call your customer a name or your previous customer any kind of names. And you really want to be cautious the way you handle this. You want to be gracious. Thanks for leaving the review. You don't have to necessarily say that in public, but you do, want to say, I'm so sorry that you had this difficult situation happen. And, if you come back and, we'll do everything that we can to make it right. Okay, so basically somebody that comes and finds out, what do you want them to see? They're already going to see that customer side of things. And so what do you want them to see from you? And yeah, I do recommend that you respond to your negative reviews, and you can respond to your positive reviews as well, because people like to see interaction. It makes you more human. Okay, so you're going to go ahead and respond to those reviews. Now, if you just can't deal with this person after you've responded to it, now we need to get to work, and we're going to bury the bad with the good. And basically, the idea here is that we're going to basically make somebody look through so much good stuff before they get to that bad review that it doesn't matter, because they had to go through all of this good stuff before they even got to it. And one way that you can do that is through press releases. And press releases, not only are they great to rank, but rank meaning that you can get them up higher on the search engine results faster. But with a press release, you can really, choose your story. What is it that you want people to find out about you? What do you want them to know about you? What are the goodwill things that you and your business are doing? What is the vision that you have, really, and your company has, to change the world? This is your time to really shine, and you can do that with press releases. Another thing that you can use are blog post endorsements. Not a lot of people talk about this, but if you what this means is that, if you have other business associates who have blogs, and now these are blogs that are really contributed to on a regular basis. We're not talking about a blog that, somebody throws up personal stuff every 6 months. This is a blog post that, or this is a blog that people are contributing to on a regular basis, and you get them to mention their visit to your store with a link back to your store, obviously using your name and your business name once in a while. And hey, Jane recommended Dr. Gray to me, and we just had our first visit, and she couldn't have been more right. We went in there, and the staff were great, and Alex was a little nervous, but they calmed him down, and boom, there's your blog post endorsement. Now, I do want to caution you. Some people do recommend that you use your employees to post blogs on their personal blogs, and I'm going to really steer you away from that, because if you have a parting of the ways on from your employees, that can just go sour, and now we've got more negative stuff that we're trying to cover up. So blog post endorsements are great because they're third party and they get posted. So another one that you can use are pictures of happy clients. Now, pictures and videos rank so well on Google. Now, at the time of I just Googled my name last night, and there were 5 or 6 photos that came up. One of them, is a personal photo of myself that I had put on G+. Another one was my avatar that comes up. Another one was a photo of one of the books that I have published. And then there was one random one in there that it was of a gentleman, and I'm not sure who he was. He was definitely not me. So I have some work to do on this myself. I need to get some more photos on there, so that when people Google me and they're stalking me and cyber stalking me, they are finding things that I want them to find about me, not about someone else. And so you can do the same. And they can. You want to take pictures of your happy clients and make sure that those get found by Google when people are looking for you. It works like a charm. It's another reason to have this. And the same thing goes for video. LinkedIn discussions, those rank really well as well. Now, I'm not talking about your LinkedIn bio will rank as well, so you want to make sure that you've got a nice bio there. And these are not sales pages. What I'm talking about here is if you're already on LinkedIn, and yes, LinkedIn is a whole nother seminar that I'll be doing for you. But if you're already on LinkedIn, and you're joining some discussions and you're really showing that you know your stuff. Now, you're not selling things, you're just really showing that you know your stuff. Then those can be ranked, and that's another thing that, people know, oh, this guy really knows his stuff. He's helping other people out. And of course, me being the publisher, I'm going to tell you write a book or a co-author a book. And Google loves Amazon. These things get ranked. I just told you, just in the photos, my one of my books came up in the photos when you Google my name. So another thing to note here, another really cool thing about books is that your elevation, that pedestal that people put you on goes even higher. You're already up there if you've got an advanced degree and you're an orthodontist. But if you're an orthodontist that wrote a book about orthodontia, if that's even the right word to say, I'm not sure. But if you wrote a book about your field, wow, what does that say about you? They Google you and just to find your phone number, and they found out that you know so much about this that you've written the book on it. That says volumes. And it's another thing that, we can bury bad things with good. And, something I didn't even mention about press releases, too, is we're talking about know, like, and trust. If that press release gets picked up by a third party, and same as this blog post, those are third party things, that's credibility. And that credibility, talk about trust factor. This guy knows his stuff. So those are other ways. And then, we did talk about video. Video testimonials. Now, I do know a local videographer, and if you're in my area, you can find one locally. But you can do this, if we're talking about ranking and those kind of things, you can use your cell phone or have your clients use their cell phones and give you little video testimonials, in-person ones. Now, if it's really hard to get your customers on camera, that's okay. With my clients, one thing that has been really successful is we take the written testimonies that or the reviews that they've done, and we say this was on Google Plus or that this was on Yelp, or we quote them, and then we animate it and all that kind of stuff and put that and add music and make that a really cute little video. And so another great thing to rank is a really cute little video that's put together that says all the great things that people say, and then mix them in with your happy customer clients, your before and after pictures. This is what he looked like before braces, after braces. And you can have several videos made like that and put them on, Google owns YouTube. So you can put them on YouTube, but also even if you're not using that little video search button, when you're looking for something, video is going to rank every time. You're going to get video and you're going to get photos every single time. So you want to make sure that you are putting good stuff out there so that they can find good stuff rather than something that somebody else has written. Okay. Facebook business pages, and they've done their new thing with hashtags. You really should have a Facebook business page, because that's one of the things that got ranked with me. Have a professional page, not just your personal page, and then use that little line that is, you use shift and then the button that's right above your enter button on your PC, use that line right there, and then use your name, and then that Facebook page will rank when people are looking for both your business name and your personal name. Okay, and then you of course want to have really quality content on there. It's not a big salesy page. It's a good solid content page, and that might be one that we'll talk about in one of these seminars as well. And excuse me. After you have decided, or after you've built this reputation, and actually while you're building this 5-star reputation, you want to make sure that you are monitoring it. Okay, because every business is always just one review away from a bad review. And if you have a bad review that's really, and that's prominent, then that's not a 5-star review. So you want to be monitoring this. Now, many of you may have already been using Google Alerts. You want to go to Google Alerts and type in your name and your business name, so that anytime Google finds something with your name or your business name on it, it notifies you and lets you know that, hey, there's new content out there about you. But the problem with that is that when people leave you a review, they are not necessarily mentioning your name or the company name. So you really need to be checking all the review sites on a regular basis so you know whether or not there's a new review out there. And then and then you go back to your step and you're looking for all of those things. So when I said bury the bad with the good, by the way, you don't necessarily have to have a bad review already to have all of this wonderful content out there and writing your articles and those kinds of things so that things can be found. Um, so you've got your monitoring in place. Now these are some of the ninja tricks that I know some others might not be happy with me for sharing with you, but I'm just going to tell you these are some of the ninja things that I've done for my clients, and you can definitely take hold of them and do them for yourself. And that's you can make your own filter. We talked about how Yelp will filter results because they're looking for bad ones. Well, you can set up a filter system so that it's more likely that you're going to catch those unhappy customers before they leave you a review. And the way that you do that, there's two steps to it actually. And one is that you're going to want to set up your own domain. And this is more of a filter, really, of the reviews that people find. And because more often than not, when they're checking you out and they're deciding whether or not they're going to do business with you, they're going to type in the name of your business and reviews. So why not have your own page that's the name of your business, reviews.com. It's very easy to rank this page, and then you can control the content that goes on there. And you just feed in the good reviews, and by the way, leave out any of the 3 stars or less. Okay. Uh, then the other way, like I said, you can filter the reviews that your customers leave you by asking them to go to a special page, to leave your review. You can have a button on your website, click the button on your website, and then it goes to this special page. And on this special page, you say, hey, did you have a great experience or did you have a less than great experience? And if they say they had a great experience, it's a thumbs up, then they're going to click on this button. It's going to say, thank you, we're so happy that you were delighted with us. Would you please leave us a review? And then it brings up a review site that you want to use. Okay, so you're not leaving it up to them to go find the review site. It's bringing up, if you are lacking reviews on Google Plus, it's bringing up, Google Plus for you. So it's making it very easy. Remember I said to get these reviews, you need to make it easy. So what's easier than going to your webpage, clicking on leave us a review, clicking on whether or not it was a good or a bad review. If it was a good or bad experience, they click on it was a good experience. Now, boom, there's a place for them to leave a review, and it's all pre-populated. It's all your site. They don't have to go searching for you. They don't have to go searching for the website or anything. Then they leave their review for you, and you say thank you very much. Um, Now, if they say it's a bad review, less than stellar experience, they click on that button, you can have, little comments there and say, I'm so sorry that you had a less than stellar experience with us. Would you please tell us all about it? We want to make it up to you. Or you can have a video of you personally saying, oh, wow, thank you for letting me know that you had a bad experience. I'm really sorry this happened to you. Would you please tell me about it, or would you call me? This is my phone number out and ask for me specifically. I want to hear about the experience that you had. So you just tell them this special phrase, and they'll make sure that you get put through to me personally. Uh, what what does that say about you? That you care so much that you're making a personal video and you're asking them for a direct call. What does it say about you, that you're apologizing? Oh my gosh, I want to hear about it. Leave us a note. So they're going to type away, or they're going to pick up the phone and call you, and they're going to let you know all about it. And then you need to do the right thing and you need to make it right. But they're not invited, and they're not given an easy way to leave you a review. It's just right, it's specifically tells them, okay, this is what you do. Leave us some information, and then we'll take care of it. So they've got it out of their system, and they're less likely to go and find you on all these review sites and make it. It's not 100% foolproof, but it's a really good system to make sure that you're maintaining that 5-star reputation. And that's what I've got for you today. I hope that you have learned a bunch, and really, what do you do from here? And the truth is, if you were in front of me right now, and this was a live presentation, then I would tell you to look to the person to your left and look to the person to your right, and um, and find out, did you do business with them? If you have, leave them a review. The best thing that you can do for anybody is, and for your business is to have goodwill. And so go ahead and leave them a review, because now you know the importance of them. And hey, you could be getting them a loan. You don't know. So make sure that you're leaving them 4 or 5 star reviews, good reviews. And if you have a problem with that person, then make sure that they understand what it is. And if somebody's telling you that you've got a problem with your business, then listen. People tell you this out of love, and you can go ahead and fix it. Now, I have given you everything you need to know, uh, really, to manage your own 5 star reputation. And if you'd like me to present this to your group or organization, you can just email me at info@membersonlyseminars.com. And if you feel that you've got additional questions about what I've said, please, send me an email, and I'm happy to answer them the best that I can. Um, Now, if you think that you might need some help with this, I do have a limited amount of openings for my reputation management service. But as you can see, it's quite involved, and it is intensive. So I can only have 10 clients in this area. That's what we're limited to here. So if you want to talk to me about that, just send me an email with your business name and your personal name, and a way to get in touch with you, and I'll contact you about that. So next week we are going to talk about social media, and that's a big can of worms, but we're going to talk about that. It's something that some of you have written in and told me, I just don't know where to start. I have no idea where to go with that. So we're going to give you a starting place with your social media, and do that. So thanks so much again for joining me, and go out there and leave a business, leave at least one review, and let me know that you did it, because it's just, you're going to fill the world and make the world a better place by leaving others reviews. And then ask your customers to leave you a review. If you do anything, that first step today, Google your name, Google your business name, find out what review sites are ranking, and ask your customers for those reviews. Make it easy for them to do that, and then start filling up with content. So you've got a lot to do with this week. It's worth it. And if you've got any questions, give me a call.